to your Stahls A2Z heat press, and now it's time to perfect your craft as a t-shirt printer. And the first thing we need to know how to do is to properly load on a t-shirt and print a standard full front design. So let's go ahead and get started by showing you how you can load on a t-shirt easily with the popular A2Z swing away heat press. Okay, so the first step for getting your t-shirt loaded on correctly is by threading, okay? So what we're gonna do is actually open up the bottom of our t-shirt and we're gonna dress the bottom platen of the heat press with it. All right, so threading allows us to isolate our print area properly. And the way the A2Z is set up is so that you can thread either from the back or the front. So just choose your preference, and then that way you have a clear view of where your print location is going to be. Now, seeing our t-shirt on the platen, we can gauge what the t-shirt is going to look like when it's worn, right? So our platens are filling out our shoulders a little bit. Our collar is dropping down on the platen, so it's giving me a good idea of where I should place my design. Now we can take this a step further and really help find the center of our t-shirt by creating a little crease here. And this really helps with beginners. So what we're gonna do is actually remove our shirt from the bottom platen and fold our t-shirt in half, right? So I'm taking one seam to the next and folding in half. And then I'm just going to lay this down on my bottom platen. And I'm gonna do a little bit of a tack, right? Because we wanna create a little bit of a crease there. So I'm just gonna make sure this is nice and flat there so that we get a nice solid crease. That'll indicate what my center is of my t-shirt. So I'm just gonna swing my upper heating element around and lock this down for just a few seconds, long enough to create a nice crease there. And then when I go to hold up my t-shirt, I can now see where exactly center is. So we're just going to go through that threading process one more time, where we are loading the t-shirt on by dressing the bottom platen and working with just one single layer of the t-shirt. Right, so now whenever I dress this, there's a clear indication here of what is center, which is really gonna help me with lining up my graphic. All right, so now that we know what is center, we now need to find center of our heat transfer. So what we're gonna do is fold this in half where the start point meets the end point. Right, so we know we're exactly half of that design, and I'm just going to pinch the top of the transfer. I'm not going to fold it all the way down. I don't want to risk damaging the adhesive on the back of my heat transfer in any way. So I'm just going to pinch that. And whenever I unfold, I can now line that up properly with that line that I have created. Now, before we are ready to lock down our upper heating element and apply, another thing we need to consider is pressure, right? So we have this thick collar seam here that is going to get the bulk of the pressure whenever we go to lock down our upper heating element. So we actually need to push that back and make sure that we are not in the way of getting an even pressure. Now, pretty standard for how far your design should be from the collar is 3 inches. And one easy way to see if you are where you need to be is by taking 4 fingers and dropping that below your collar. And the start of your design should begin at the end of your pointer finger, okay? Now you can see that the top of this design is reaching my middle finger. So we're going to need to readjust our design by dropping that below so that it is at that 3-inch mark. Right, so I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna line up center of my transfer with the center line that we created when we creased our shirt. And now we are at the correct location of where our design should be placed. So we can Now heat apply. One more thing you need before heat applying is a cover sheet. So we're going to go ahead and cover our t-shirt completely. And now we can apply our heat transfer for those recommended time, temperature, and pressure applications. Now we can go ahead and remove the backing of our heat transfer. And our full front design is complete. So there you have it. By simply following those few steps using the Stahls A2Z heat press, you can easily print a standard full front design on a variety of crew neck tees. For more information on the products used in this video, go ahead and check out the links in the description. And of course, if you want more info and how-tos on how to print t-shirts, just subscribe to the Stahls TV YouTube channel.